Welcome back. We want to work with designers, but we gotta speak the same language. Here are a few terms that you have to know when chatting with designers. These are in no particular order. A mockup. That's inserting the design into a realistic context. This is very useful, especially for packaging design, but it works for just about every type of project out there. A mockup can really help you see how the design is going to look like in the real world. Now, a mood board, that's a collection of images, colors, text that go together. These are used to create an overall vibe, how the design should feel like when it's done. It's very useful when you're trying to decide on a style. A mood board is often used before getting to the actual high fidelity work, before the designer actually starts working on the design. It's somewhere between sketches and wireframes and the final product. Mood boards are exactly in between. Aspect ratio. If you hold your phone upright, that's portrait mode. This is also called 9 by 16, but the numbers may vary. Turn it this way and that's landscape mode. This is typically called 16 by 9. Now, aspect ratio is quite important when you're about to design a series of banners that are going to be shown on several social media platforms and on various devices. So that's why this matters. Stakeholder, a person involved in the project that has some say in it. It can be the entrepreneur, a manager, a C-level executive, or a person that's in charge of that specific project. Otherwise said, the client is not always a single entrepreneur that decides everything on his own. In some cases, there's an entire team of people involved, all with various interests. Those are called stakeholders. Typography. It's all about how your text looks like. Copy or copywriting is the actual content. Think of a slogan, a headline, unique selling points. Those are often called copy. Raster versus vector. A raster image is made out of a specific amount of pixels and it cannot be enlarged without a big loss in quality. Typically, when you enlarge it, it becomes blurry or pixelated. A vector image can be infinitely scaled without losing quality. Digital painting is typically done with raster layers. Logos are mostly created with vectors, so you can print them on the side of a building if needed. Next, royalty-free stock photo. This is an image that typically has to be purchased, but it doesn't require additional payment based on its use. Royalty is simply a fee that's typically based on usage. For example, when a song gets played on the radio, the creator of the song gets paid a royalty. Thus, royalty-free doesn't mean it's a free image. No, instead it simply means you won't have to pay anything else once it's purchased. Next, a wireframe is basically a sketch that shows you a rough outline of the project. It's also typically called low fidelity design. This is useful at the beginning of the project just so everybody is on the same page. Negative space or white space is the empty room inside of your project. You can see a lot of this, especially with high-end designs. There's a lot of empty space. That's not a mistake, that's intentional, and it has a profound effect on the perceived value of the brand and the overall mood. Flat design. Flat design is based on simple 2D minimalism. It's the opposite of skeuomorphism, which dominated the scene a while ago. Now, skeuomorphism was based on making things very ornate, intricate, realistic, adding lots and lots of details. Flat design is the flip side of the coin, the complete opposite. Lorem ipsum is dummy text, also called filler text. If the designer isn't given copy from the business, he will likely use lorem ipsum as a way to make the project look somewhat realistic. Lorem ipsum is just Latin text and it's used as a placeholder. A style guide is a set of instructions and guidelines typically provided by the company, but the designer absolutely made it. This guide tells other designers what typeface, colors, logos can be used and in what form. The goal of the style guide is to maintain a certain consistent look throughout the board. That's why you won't see the Coca-Cola logo split up on two lines or shown in a different font. The style guide sets up very clear rules. Next, a brief. A brief is a document in which the scope of the project is laid out. It's best kept short and it describes the business, the desired outcome, examples, counterexamples, the target audience, the timeline, budget, and a few other bits. Next, the handoff or handover process simply means the delivery process at the end of the design project. This is basically the designer giving you the keys. The deliverables typically are the source file, aka the project file, some instructions, notices, links of all sorts, and complete access so the design can be sent to production. And basically that's it. Those are the main terms you should know about. There are countless other ones, but these are some of the most common ones that are bound to pop up in a conversation.